28 days to go until the NFL draft, and today all eyes are on Florida's Pro Day here. Anthony Richardson taking center stage after dominating the combine last month. Our senior draft experts, Ryan Wilson, Rick Spielman, they made the trek to Gainesville to see AR firsthand. Anthony Richardson making an appearance in the conversation, of course, always on Ryan Wilson's latest mocks. The physical tools are there, but then on the other side of the conversation, the lack of experience, of course, working against him. Getting back to the odds to be the first overall pick, we have AR there coming in third at plus 850 behind Ohio State's CJ Stroud and Bama's Bryce Young. Will Levis and Will Anderson rounding out the top five there for the odds to be the first overall pick. And our draft analysts, Rick Spielman and Ryan Wilson, they are at my alma mater in Gainesville, hanging out in the swamp for Florida's Pro Day. Finally, guys, AR, we know that he shined in the combine. You were there in Indy firsthand to see that happen. So to go from that to his Pro Day, what were your big takeaways?
What was your big takeaway, Rick?
That he is a man. When you see him up in person and what he looks like, he's an incredible, not only physical specimen, but an incredible athlete. And the thing that really jumped out when we watched him just warming up, the size of his hand looks like a Nerf ball when the football's in his hand. And the other thing that you don't see on film that you saw here that I didn't notice before is that he doesn't throw with the laces.
Right.
Whatever way the ball comes back to him, that's the way he's going to throw the ball. But it didn't affect his accuracy. I thought he had great touch and timing today. There's no question about the arm strength and the talent. He can throw with as you call it, layers the ball in with some velocity. So he had a very impressive Pro Day today.
And we talked about this on the With the First Pick pod, Jacqueline, that Will Levis probably has the best arm of the four guys we saw over the last week. But Anthony Richardson's arm is right there, but he also does it effortlessly. It doesn't feel like he's clutched up and so worried about making the perfect throw every time. He just cuts it loose, and you saw it again and again and again with the throws he was able to make. And again, effortless is the word I think best describes his ability to throw the ball 90 yards down the field, and it was a lot of fun to watch in person, and especially, as Rick notes, he looks like Will Anderson in terms of his size when he walks into the field, and then he does his things athletically that very few people on planet Earth can or have ever done, and that was a huge takeaway for the both of us, I feel like.
And Ryan, in your latest mock, you have the Gainesville native going number 4 overall to Indy. After being there at Florida's Pro Day and seeing him in person there, do you still feel that way, or maybe you're going to put him somewhere different on your mock drafts?
Well, Jacqueline, I know you'll listen to With the First Pick on your drive home, and we talked about this. And I said to Rick, so is Anthony now convinced? Are you sure that he's a top 10 guy? He goes, he's top 5. So Rick is really excited, and we talked about the Colts as a possible landing spot, and I still think that makes sense because of Shane Steichen and all the success he had with Jalen Hurts. But I want to hear your favorite landing spot that you mentioned on the podcast.
Yeah, I think Seattle would be the best landing spot for him if he fell down to Seattle. The reason I say that is there's no question about the physical ability. There's no question about the arm talent. The question is, with a lack of experience at the collegiate level, he's going to take time. He's not a walk in right away and be a day one starter where I think Bryce Young and I think CJ Stroud can do that. If he can get into a situation that he can learn behind a Geno Smith for a year or two, let him get his feet wet, let them continue to develop him, and then you may have something that's going to be a future star in the NFL.
I mean, learning behind Geno Smith, hey, that's pretty good there. All right, gentlemen, we've talked about the physical tools just time and time again at the Combine. It's like breaking records left and right. And then obviously at the Pro Day there, AR throwing the ball and hitting the ceiling. What was going through your mind when you're watching him do stuff like this?
The first thing that went through my mind is I was standing on the sidelines and I looked straight up, and the roof comes down. It's an A-frame roof, and I was thinking, you could give me 100 chances. I couldn't even hit the lowest part of this roof. So for him to do it, I don't know if he was serious or not. Will Levis did it back last Friday, and I think he was joking around trying to do it. But this is an absolute moonshot.
Yeah, no, but it just tells you Florida needs to raise the roof and get a new facility. They just built a brand new one. So that's not – he just put a lot of air under the ball. That thing would have maybe sailed 90 yards by the way it came out of his hand. But – yeah, that has nothing to do with what we saw here today, except that he does have a strong enough arm to hit the roof.
Have you seen anyone throw the ball as far as he can throw it through the course of your 30 years that pops in your mind?
Well, Will Levis threw the ball pretty far.
All right, that was last week.
So, yeah, yes. That was last week. So, yes, I have.
All right, Rick Spielman, Ryan Wilson joining us from Florida's Pro Day. Thank you so much, guys.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.